How much does it cost to write a book, to print a book, to create a book? You need a budget. And in this episode, we'll show you all the various costs you need to consider when you write your book. Hi, I'm Dan Janal, the author of more than a dozen books, including Write Your Book in a Flash. I'm a ghostwriter, book coach, and developmental editor. And no matter where you are in the book writing process, I can help. Now, let's get started. Congratulations, you've decided to write a book. That's fantastic. But how much will it cost you? Are you aware of all the costs? Do you even know the various items you need to budget for and account for? Well, today I'm going to show you what you need to account for. Now, no way am I saying don't write a book. I'm not there at all. I'm saying you should write a book, but you should go in there with your eyes open because there are a lot of fees and costs involved in writing a book, and you need to be aware of what those are now before you get started so you don't get blindsided later and say, oh my God, I wish I had known about this before. I would have budgeted more appropriately. So cool. Okay, let's get started with a number of items here. First of all, there's someone like me, a ghostwriter. If you don't want to write your book, and there are many reasons why you may not want to write a book, it takes a lot of time. You can make more money doing other things like selling real estate or being a lawyer or being a doctor. You may not have enough time to write a book. So those are good reasons to hire a ghostwriter. Or maybe you're just not good with grammar and writing and you want to offload that as well to someone who knows what they're doing and make the process a little bit easier. Okay, those are all great reasons to hire a ghostwriter. But what does a ghostwriter cost? It's all over the board. It can range from anywhere from $5,000 to $40,000 to over $100,000 for someone who's actually written a true New York Times best-selling book. So there are various wide range in there. And frankly, people charge whatever they think they can charge. Just because you're paying a lot of money doesn't mean you're getting a much better writer. So before you hire a ghostwriter, be sure to read their work. Be sure to have a conversation with them to make sure they're the right fit for you. I have other videos on how to hire ghostwriters in this series, so look for those and you'll go deeper there. But again, you don't have to hire a ghostwriter. You can write the book yourself, and many people do. You don't have to be the world's greatest writer. You don't have to have the world's greatest command of the English language or copy editing or proofreading, because you can hire people to do that for you. Those people generally charge 2 to 3 cents per word, and the average business book is about 20 to 25,000 words, so it's about $750 for one pass of reading your book. But you want to have 2 people read your book because no one spots all the errors. So one person will read the book, you'll make your changes, corrections, whatever, then you'll send it to a second copy editor and they'll do their magic and look through and find things that the first person missed, and frankly, things that you missed. It just happens. It's human nature. I have other videos on copy editing and proofreading as well that you can watch to learn some of the finer points there. You also might want to hire a book coach or a developmental editor. I provide those services as well to people who I think would be good clients for me. And if I speak with you and we're not a good fit, I can easily refer you to people who I think would be a good fit for you. So what does a book coach or developmental editor do? Frankly, I haven't seen a good definition that breaks down how a book coach differs from a developmental editor. So I'll treat them the same because I provide both services. Book coaches are accountability partners. They're trained in coaching. They help you get through the doldrums when you're down and depressed and feel like you can't go on and need motivation. They work with you on various issues. A developmental editor looks at the big picture of the book and helps you with the themes and ideas, the organization, and provides an outside perspective so you can write your book better, faster. And I have numerous videos on that as well, on how I've helped my clients find their signature stories and their pearls of wisdom that they were burying because they were too close to their subjects. So look for those videos as well. So how much does a book coach or developmental editor cost? I have a package that costs $5,000 over 4 months. That seems to be about an average. Some people charge more, some people charge less. Some people work for a full year on the book and they charge much more than $5,000 for 4 months, maybe $20,000 for a year or so. So it's all over the board. Look for it, but you cannot write your book yourself. You'll have a much better book if you work with a book coach and a developmental editor, because you can't see the forest for the trees. Okay, So those people, the book coach, developmental editor, proofreaders, and copy editors will help you produce a manuscript. Now you need to turn the manuscript into an actual book. This is where production comes in. And these are some factors that you might not have thought about. For instance, the book cover design. It's not just the book front cover like you see here on my slide, it's also the back cover and the spine. Those are very technical things to work on. Yes, there's artistic as well. You may not like the lightning bolt on mine, and that's fine too. You may not like the colors. That's okay too. Those are all things that you need to work through with your cover designer. The fonts, the colors, the layout. Is your picture going to be on the front cover or not? But also mechanically, how wide is the spine? If you have 200 pages, it's going to be a certain length. If it's or width, if it's 150 pages, it's going to be a little bit different. You need to have someone who knows how to do those kinds of measurements so the book lays out properly. It's very, very intricate detail. You can find someone for, say, $500 or so to design that. You can go to Fiverr, and you might find people in the third world or the Philippines who are very, very good artistic designers who can design a good cover for you, for just $50 or so. So the range is pretty extreme, but it won't cost a fortune. But you need to have someone who knows what they're doing because this is a very technical thing. Interior pages, they need to be typeset. You just can't create a Microsoft Word file and send it off and expect it to look as professional and as good looking as a real book. People can tell when a book is self-published. It just doesn't have that same authority as a professionally designed book. You want your book to look really, really good because it's your business card. It's how you can raise your fees. It's how you're going to get new clients. It's how you build trust. So you want it to look like a real book, not like a self-published book. Speaking of layout, ebooks are formatted differently. They don't have page breaks, for example. And there are dozens of other things that I won't get into here because I'm really not into book production. But I want you to consider that the person who designs your printed book, it may or may not be the same person who designs the ebook. Maybe the same person, maybe a separate person. So again, you need to budget for that. And that's all over the board as well. It's not terribly expensive. It's less than $1,000. And again, it depends on the number of pages you have and the number of words you have. ISBNs. Those are the numbers that tell the book distributor and bookstores that your book is alive. They order your book by the ISBN number. And you need a different ISBN number for each format of your book. So your audio book would have one number, your printed book would have another number, your ebook would have another number. That way Amazon or any other book seller knows which version of the book to order and to buy and to sell. These are not terribly expensive. ISBNs are not terribly expensive if you buy them in bulk. If you buy one, it's $125. If you buy a block of 10, it's only $295. So you're going to need a different ISBN for your audio book, for your print book, for your ebook. If you have a hardcover version of your book, that's number 4. If you plan on doing other books in the future, you can use those additional ISBNs for those future books as well. So I'd suggest you buy the 10 pack and save money in the long term. You might have images in your book. You need to pay for them. Really, really important. You cannot just take something from the internet, whether it be a picture, a cartoon, an illustration, a photograph, and put it into your book. You need to pay for it. So you can go to stock photo sites. I use 123rf.com. There are many others, and they have different rights listed depending on whether it's an ebook, whether it's a certain number of. Read those terms and get written permission that guarantees you the right to use their images for your book for that term at that price. So you won't wind up one day and get a nasty gram from a lawyer saying you stole our material. We're charging you thousands of dollars because you violated our rights. It's a lot cheaper to buy the rights rather than pay for a lawyer. Audiobooks. People love listening to audiobooks, and you should definitely create an audiobook. You could try it yourself, but you need to buy a lot of equipment. You need to have a soundproof room. You need to record it according to certain specifications. It's harder than you think. There are people who can do this for you. I recommend Robert Plank. His information is in the show notes. He charges $500 flat fee, regardless of how long your book is. His wife also can produce audiobooks for you for the same $500. That way, if you want a male voice or a female voice, you're all set. Those are the best prices I've seen. You could go to other audiobook sites and pay a lot more for that kind of work. So I recommend Robert Plank and his wife at $500 for that. Look in the show notes for details. Printing your books, it can also be expensive. It doesn't have to be. Here are a couple of ideas for you. First of all, an ebook that you post to Amazon costs you nothing to print. It's an ebook. If you post your book to Amazon as a regular book, that's what's called print on demand. That means that Amazon has the digital files to produce your book anytime you or someone buys the book. They press a button and bingo, a book is produced, it's mailed out, and you collect royalties. Life is good. If you want to have hundreds or thousands of copies of your book in your garage to take with you at business meetings, at speeches, or other events, that's when you need printed books. I can't get into that right now because it really varies, because there are so many factors. There are different qualities of paper, there are different qualities of cover paper stock, there are questions about how many illustrations are in a book, which adds to the price of the book. All that goes into the whole mix. So look for various printing sites and publishing sites and get bids and get quotes and play them off each other, because printers will charge as much as they think they can get, but when you show them a lower bid, they can lower their price. It is a competitive marketplace. Generally speaking, a 150-page book would cost maybe $2.25 to $3 to print on Amazon. So that gives you a ballpark. So if you want to buy 100 copies for yourself, assume $3 a copy times 100 copies, $300 plus shipping to your home. Okay, remember, shipping, you probably didn't think about shipping. You might not have thought about tax. So therefore, there are a number of factors that go into printing a book, distributing a book, and all those good things. I'm not going to get into distribution now because frankly, I don't understand it, but those are some other costs that you might need to pay as well. And there might be other videos on other channels on YouTube or other places to look on Google where you can find out how different distributors work for your books. I think the easiest answer, though, is simply to upload your book to Amazon and let them take care of it. Everyone knows about Amazon. Everyone goes to Amazon to buy their books. Work with Amazon and you'll get a good deal. Look for other videos in our series on how to hire ghostwriters, book coaches, and developmental editors.